God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
All right, nicely done. How are we all doing this morning? Welcome. I see some new faces, at least new faces to me out there. My name is Reverend Michael McMorrow. I'm the senior minister here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills. If you were looking for O'Grady's, it's across the street. Just letting you know. Yeah, you get all the new people get that old joke. So, but it really is over there. So I might drive you to drink. You never know. So anyway, welcome. Welcome. It's lovely to have you here this morning. We have a little thing that we like to do here called hugs and handshakes. So if you're into just handshakes, make sure you, before you're, all right. So let's just say good morning and meet and greet each other.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Start together and together. All right. So, help me welcome our presider this morning, Wayne McDonald. And it works better when I put the microphone on. So, as we take our seats, let's take a nice, big, deep Wimbledon breath for our tennis players out there today. Yes. Let's take another breath. Just sigh it out. Allow ourselves to just surrender to this eternal now moment, setting aside the worldly clamors, anything we had to go through to get here this morning, and just relax. As we come together for our call to service, which we call Lighting the Flames of Faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings, which come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this morning. So as Wayne lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And the 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here at our center. And as Wayne lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
In this moment, in this place, I remember I am letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and I see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Join me in this opening treatment. I invite you to close your eyes if you wish. And just know that there is only love. There is love, peace, joy, and harmony. And I am one with that source. And I know right here, right now, that everything in this world is perfection. My life is perfection. I am filled with riches, with peace and harmony, and I know all is well. And with a grateful heart, I give thanks for this gathering. I give thanks for this center, and I give thanks for the community it surrounds. I give thanks for all the love, peace, joy that surrounds this day. And with a grateful heart, I release and let go, knowing it is complete and done. And together we say, and so it is. Good morning. My name is Wayne McDonald. I am one of the presiders here. I'm usually in the first service because I'm a morning person. Have you been reading what's been happening in the news lately? I'm sure you have. There has been police shootings, terrorist bombings, protests, violence, and in Dear Abby, a husband is too shy for hugs and kisses. We are dealing with terrible times, I tell you. There is always something going on in the world around us. We can simply ignore it and not watch the news, or we can choose what we watch and filter out what we don't want to see. But there is a better way. We can be that beacon of love. We can be that one mind of spirit. Things are happening in the world each and every day. The next time you're troubled by anything in the news, you can simply send them love. In the Science of Mind text, there is a spiritual mind treatment for peace of mind, which is on page 264. In part, it reads, I contend with none, argue with none, and filled with wonderful peace and light. Happiness and wholeness fill my entire being with realization of love and perfection. Now, it's a very short, easy little treatment, but simply taking 5 minutes each and every day to read this and make it part of your spiritual practice will make a shift and change your life. And it will also make a shift and change the world we live in. And it will be a world with love and perfection. And I would also be very bold to suggest, and I came up with this as I was writing this talk, I would be bold to suggest, at the same time reading this spiritual mind treatment, to bless your wallet with the money in it, with the credit cards, and with your change. Because I guarantee you that as you bless your wallet with love and perfection, the next time that you're out spending money, you will look at the person standing in front of you with love and perfection. Your life will change, theirs will change. Money is energy, no matter what form it is. Now imagine circulating that money blessed with love and perfection. Every action we take causes a change, a shift in consciousness. And I just guarantee you that something will happen. Shift happens. Be the change you want. It only takes 5 minutes a day. And to you I say, love, peace, and joy. And so it is.
Good morning, everybody. Please welcome David, Kent, and Ken DePron on guitar over here. And I'm always excited when this singer comes here because she picks great tunes, and we love working with her. Please welcome Miss Angela Carroll Brown. Here we go. Yeah. Go for it.
Strong, we were wanted all along. I was taught to fight, taught to win. I never thought I could fail. No fight left, or so it seems. I am a man whose dreams have all deserted. I've changed my face, I've changed my name, but no one wants you when you lose. Don't give up, 'cause you have friends. Don't give up, you're not beaten yet. Don't give up, I know you can make it good. Though I saw it all around, never thought that I could be affected. Thought that we'd be last to go. It is so strange the way things turn. Drove the night toward my home, the place that I was born on the lakeside. So daylight broke, I saw the earth. The trees had burned down to the ground. Don't give up, you still have us. Don't give up, you don't need much of anything, no. Don't give up, 'cause somewhere there's a place where we belong. Rest your head, you worry too much. It's gonna be alright. When times get rough, you can fall back on us. Don't give up, please, please, please don't give up. Got to walk out of here, I can't take anymore. Gonna stand on that bridge, keep my eyes down below. Whatever may come, whatever may go, that river's flowing. Ooh, that river's flowing. Moved on to another town, tried hard to settle down. For every job, so many men, no one needs. Don't give up, 'cause you have friends. Don't give up, you're not the only one. Don't give up, no reason to be ashamed. Oh, don't give up, you still have us. Don't give up now, we're proud of who you are. Don't give up, you know it's never been easy. Don't give up, no matter what you do. Don't give up, 'cause I believe there's a place where we belong. Don't give up. Don't give up.
Angela, you always move me to tears. And Ken, thank you for bringing such a magnificent force with you to this community. I could not have handpicked a better song to talk about membership, right? Don't give up, there's a place where you belong. And that's how I feel about this place. I feel like I belong here, and it's wonderful You know, I went through years in my life of feeling like I didn't fit in and like I didn't belong. And this place, and other places like this, but specifically this place for me now, has given me a sense of belonging. So this is Membership Month. Sunday, July 31st, we have our Discovery class, which is required for membership, if you will. So if you're looking for a place to belong, if you're new here and you're looking for a place to land on your feet and feel safe and welcome and wanted, we invite you to consider membership. I will be outside these back doors in the entranceway at a membership table that we're setting up this month on Sundays. If you have questions about membership, I'll be happy to answer them for you. If you want to check on your current membership, we can do that for you. If you have a change of address, we can do that. But there's also other wonderful things going on in this community. You have a flyer in your brochure that outlines and lists all the wonderful events that go on here. But today we do have our healing support group at 1 o'clock. For those of us who are in the Hero's Journey class on Thursday nights, this is just a reminder that there is no class this coming week. Please save Friday, July 22nd, 6:30 p.m. here in the sanctuary. Ken is bringing a kirtan concert. For those of you who like the call and response and sacred chanting, we do have kirtan here this Friday, July 22nd. And I'm really grateful that you're bringing that. I personally love kirtan. I think that's all that I wanted to highlight today. I think Nancy is still doing her Tai Chi on Wednesday mornings. It might be up here. She's in the back there if you have questions about that. And otherwise, welcome here. You're most welcome if this is your first time, if it's your 100th time, if you're looking for a place to hang out on Sunday mornings, we're happy you're here. Thank you.
Please stand for the Declaration of Principles. And together, we believe in one universal spirit, manifesting through all, natural and incarnated in us. We believe that the universal spirit is personal to and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe that our faith operates upon a law of mind, which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life and in the immortality of the individual soul forever expanding. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the givingness of life to all.
I
Very nice. Well, I got to tell you, I feel pretty blessed by our music program around here. So, and as I say that, I just want to thank those who, we do have people who make contributions for the extra musicians that aren't in the budget. So just giving you a shout out, whether here or at home with friends that we have. So we are live streaming. I also want to welcome our friend from CSL Santa Rosa. So we love Dr. Edward around here. So we're delighted to have you here, but I won't break your anonymity. So there you go. Marla's there in the back. So welcome. And your minister is highly respected in the movement, and well, he's a great guy. So, and thank you, Angela, and the band. Gosh, you got to give them a little more love and appreciation there. Yeah, you bet. So today is the talk title is The Paradigm of Freedom, and it is in alignment with the global vision, loving kindness and forgiveness, which was an effort spearheaded by Dr. Edward. And we are adapting here at our own center in a rather timely fashion, I might add, that with everything that's been going on, that loving kindness and forgiveness is, well, it's just the proper theme for this month. So I wanted to start out with, so if this is your first time at a New Thought church, there's a teacher, poet, mystic named Ernest Holmes, and he wrote this. We work out of a thing that we call a textbook. And he said this: remembering that the Spirit holds no evil towards anyone, and that God is love, we should emulate this divine lesson and forgive all, that our hearts may be free from the burden of our own condemnation. We should emulate this divine lesson and forgive all, that our hearts may be free from the burden of our own condemnation. So one of the things that I like and appreciate about this teaching, so this teaching is called the Science of Mind or Religious Science. One of the things that I like about it is that it is open to all sacred practice, which means that I am free. I am free to explore what it means to be a person who is spiritually curious. Spiritually curious. So I am not bound by any edict that says, here's the truth, go no further. Right? So there's no spiritual no man's land. In fact, I would even say, and I know it's my intention and the intention of our staff ministers here and practitioners who teach classes here or hold workshops, that there is even an encouragement to explore and contemplate deeply the Spirit, when Holmes reminds us what other teachers have said when he says that God is both transcendent and imminent, beyond the horizon, and yet closer than your own heart. Or another way it could be said is that the outermost God and the innermost God are one God. Now this can be a scary proposition for some folks, and I would even say for many folks in mainline traditions. For those who have been raised, as I was, in mainline faith systems, it can even be considered a blasphemy to set off on such a venture. So in my religion of origin, you were not allowed to visit Protestant churches, for instance. You were not allowed to go, now this has changed, but in that time, you couldn't go to a Jewish temple or synagogue. And the Hindu scene will forget about it because they were pagan, man, right? But like many things in life, of course, what was needed was just to have more revealed, right? So when you don't know something, you're scared of something oftentimes. And when we don't know certain types of people, maybe we're afraid of them. And then we get to know someone, we're like, hey, you know, these guys are pretty happening. So when I think back, like I say, there was this idea that there was a blasphemy to explore other systems, and I had to work through that when I came here to this new thought teaching. But now, and I thought it was kind of odd, but now as an older person looking back, I think I understand this concern a little better. For someone whose understanding is more bound in the intellect, without a strong faith, the net result can be the loss of a congregant or a parishioner, right? Or worse, for a committed religious teacher, the loss of faith of that spiritual traveler. So it can be out of a real sense of concern. But for the one who has a strong commitment to the task, who is willing to build faith with understanding, to know there is a deeper realization of the Spirit awaiting our recognition of it, this can be the most fruitful enterprise. And at the same time, as I heard from a speaker last night, that what is needed is not to work harder, but to resist less. Not to work harder, but to resist less. So like Odysseus of old, slogging through the trials and tribulations of the underworld, only to be told by Tyreus the blind prophet that the lesson of life is in the journey and not in the destination. That's so the story of Odysseus being one where he right, 10 years for the Trojan Wars and then 10 years to get home. And obsessed with getting home to his kingdom, his wife and son. And all the while missing out on what was being there available to be learned from the journey. Well, so it is within our own spiritual journey. So that we too may find it necessary to explore the underworld, that shadow side. In fact, I think it's imperative. For if we are to really truly recognize and understand the wholeness of God, that it's the wholeness of ourself must be embraced, considered, and embraced. So we must be willing to go into the underworld, the shadow side of ourselves, to find the answers that we seek. And I would agree with others that until we courageously take on that take on that which is that up until now has been that undiscovered country, we cannot be fully realized. So, to check out the shadow side, to feel the shame, the regret, the anger, the remorse, whatever, and then to shed it, to shed those emotions, and then to look at the shadow side with the eye of the observer, seeking information rather than condemnation, to be willing to make amends if needed, and finally to act on that willingness and to see the amends through in the real world. Now, amends is different than forgiveness, yes? Yes, amends is different. An amends, in fact, needs to be offered knowing that forgiveness may not be the net result. Most of the time it is, in my experience, because I've had to make a few amends in my life, right? And most of the time it is received with receptivity and appreciation, or disregarded. Get over it. but not always. So that it's important to remember that an amends is for the recipient and not for the one making the amends. That the amends is not so the transgressor can feel better at the expense of the recipient. Now, this can be a dilemma if we feel moved in this way, because sometimes those whom we wish to make an amends with may not be on this earth plane. Or we just don't know how to get in touch with them. They're not on Facebook, right? But we can still make that amends. And it is a very powerful experience, even to be done with a third party, such as a minister, a practitioner, or a trusted friend. And the amends itself is vital to the person offering it, for it is the gateway to self-forgiveness. Now, I don't know about you, but self-forgiveness for me has often been the toughest realm for me. For one, I was not trained to do that. Right? So my religious training was not in self-forgiveness. It was forgiving others, because after all, I am a sinner. And so whatever I'm getting, I deserve. Right? But today I understand that in a much different way. That sin is not an offense against God, but rather an error in thought. And that as I know better, I do better. And that as I know the things that drive me into behaviors that are less than the way that I want to show up in the world, that as these are revealed and shown the light of day, that they are in fact shown the light of spirit. So then the shadow then is part now of the enlightened self. So I think one of the things that we do sometimes is think that this was something that happened 2,000 years ago with Jesus, or 2,600 with the Buddha, right? But these are really examples, not exceptions, that we are called to step into the power and presence of the divinity that is already within us, right? But layered with stuff, right? And self-recrimination is part of that. So we're not giving ourselves a pass. So we're not simply saying, well, I'm a religious scientist and I'm whole, perfect, and complete, just as I am. So it doesn't work that way, right? Or I don't take responsibility. I'm whole, perfect, and complete, so it's your problem. No, this is not what knowing the truth means. Right? That we understand that we have a part. And so whatever it is within me, now if you want to get really metaphysical, and when you sit with these ideas long enough, whatever it is within me that is calling forth this behavior from you to erupt, I'm now willing for that to be healed. Right? Forgive me. Forgive me for that which is within me that is bringing this forth. Because we understand that it's a reflection of our own consciousness on some level. Or maybe, more accurately, that it's a reflection of our own unconsciousness. Yes? Because if we were conscious of it, we would be working with it. So remember that the Spirit holds no evil towards anyone, and that God is love, and that we should emulate this divine lesson and forgive all, including ourselves, that our hearts may be free from the burden of our own condemnation. So what happens when we forgive others and ourselves and make reparations or amends, when possible then, is a complete paradigm shift. Because we are now different. We have been reborn by the renewal of our mind. That we are now seeing the world differently. We are now being the world differently. For what happens in this process is that we then begin to identify with our brothers and sisters rather than compare. We identify rather than compare. There is no longer a me against them or us against them, but rather a realization that the world is an effect of consciousness and that I have that within me too. So I can identify with all the wonderful things that I see out in the world and should, and embrace them and know that truth for ourselves, even at the same time understanding that these less than great things, I also have that in me. Like the Taoist symbol of the light, right? So I love that symbol, the Taoist symbol of the circle, and there's one half is light and one half is dark, and in the light there's one little dark spot, and in the white side and in the dark side there's one little white spot. Did I say that right? Yeah. As one integrated whole. That's what we're working with, right? So we're looking at our shadow side, those places, well, could have done that better. Become willing, I need to do something about that one. That's some unfinished stuff. Okay? And at the same time, know that there's a power and a presence within us that is walking with us the whole time that we are doing this. Because when we understand and know that this is a truth, or at least a possibility of truth for this existence in human life, then we can walk with our shoulders back, our head up, with confidence, knowing that we are divinely guided every step of the way. That we will know when to say, how to say the right thing, when to say it, and in exactly the right way. Because what's going on? We've surrendered, right? So we've surrendered, we've stopped resisting, we've surrendered to the Spirit that is now using us to be the vehicle for its demonstration. This is God's imperial rule brought from heaven here on earth. Right? That was like Jesus' gig. How do we bring the Father here? Well, that's how we do it. Identify rather than compare. So now when I'm dealing with you, I am identifying with you. In our shared experience, there's a quickening. There's a quickening. There's a yes. Right? So I heard this speaker speak to this, and it really hit home. There's a yes in our identification. And that is a spiritual experience. They're happening all around us, right? And because we are willing to surrender to the Spirit, even as recognizing our own power, and it is the gift of consciousness, and it is a gift of the trained mind that won't be yanked off of the truth. These are all tenets of our teaching, right? We are now different in the world. We have had a paradigm shift. And so what's true for the individual is true for the society in which people live. We have unfinished business in this country. This week has shown this, that we have unfinished business in this country around race. We have to stop pussyfooting around with it and denying it. We have to look at it and accept it. We've been watching it now for the last 7 years with President Obama. And I know some of you may bristle at that, but I ask you to disengage the politics that you may not agree with and see the man, who he is, that he's an African-American man who's taken a lot of stuff for that reason, and that reason alone. I'm sorry, it's true. that our police forces have an incredibly difficult and dangerous job that attracts people with a necessary mindset. And as we want to support them and their necessary role in society and our commitment to protect them, we cannot overlook the fact that we have becoming more and more militarized over the last 30 years in our police forces. That they have moved from being peace officers into a police force. And we now have, because of 13 years of war, we now have people and equipment who are being utilized after 13 years of this stuff. It's a tough call. And then finally, in Dallas, trained in Afghanistan by our own military, an Army veteran who admittedly had issues. There's no doubt about that. Right? But he is an Army vet. I don't know if he was a sniper or not. So it's time for us to look at the unintended consequences of war and own it. It's time to look at the unintended consequences of war and the civilian institution systems that support it. And this stuff takes time. It takes time. We've been at it for a long time. You know, some amends take a long time to make. Slavery was bad enough. But Jim Crow, in many ways, I think was far more pernicious because it was pretending to be something that it wasn't. And we're talking about generations of physical or financial bondage. And to think that we can address it in 40 or 50 years of affirmative action is not reasonable. So Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter, but not just, on the protester line. Black Lives Matter at Head Start in kindergarten. They matter in public schools. They matter in college and access to college and in hiring practices when they're out. And yes, all lives matter, yes, too, but not as a way of dismissing the concerns of our brothers and sisters of the African American community. And yes, blue lives matter, too. But when our eyes are open, we will see the things worth saying. When our eyes are open, this is Rumi. When our eyes are open, we will see the things worth saying. So that, we really need to stand together for both of these ideas, that Black Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter, all lives matter. Right? And at the same time to acknowledge that shadow side of ourselves that wants to run to the comfortable side. To dismiss it or ignore it. We've done some wonderful work in this country, right? We now have marriage equality, right? We have a commitment to honor each other as human beings, right? And it's time for each one of us within our own heart and as a society now to address that shadow side of us and bring the light of awareness to it so that we really can create a world that works for all. The time is now. We all have within our life experience now, all of us have many interracial relationships. We may not be married to folks or living with them, but they are relationships. We're no longer afraid of this stuff anymore. Okay? Well, it's time for us to take the reins of these systems that are allowing these things to go forward in peaceful ways. Right? To know that the next Dr. King is just waiting to be called forth and that this person can stand in the mandate and the calling to lead the rest of us to it. Maybe it's President Obama when he gets out, who knows, right? And to find that courageous police captain, right, police commissioner willing to step up in this way. They're there. They absolutely are there, and there's more than one. And they're going to need our support, right, in prayer and knowing that truth for them, and in our prayers and daily practice. So, that's enough. Let's call the band up and take a deep breath while they do that. Just recognize and know that that this day, that we have the stuff. We have the stuff to live courageously. That we have the stuff within us to embrace a new paradigm that has even more power in it than the one that we are currently experiencing life as. That we maybe take some time today and consider who is it or what is it that I can bring the light of Spirit into some shadow aspect of something that I may be dealing with in my own life. And to make that commitment today to generate and to cultivate a field of knowing where I can identify with my brothers and sisters today rather than compare. Identify, recognize, and know that what I am identifying is the Spirit, God itself, in expression as that person and as myself. And in that simultaneous recognition of that, the resonance of spiritual experience of God expressing on this earth plane, we just simply stop working so hard and resist less.
Battered and torn, still I can see the light. Tattered and worn, what I must deal to fight. Friend of mine, what can you spare? I know sometimes it gets cold in there when my legs no longer carry, and the warm wind chills my bones. I reach for the Spirit, and I shall not walk alone. Hope is alive while we're apart. Only tears speak from my heart, break the chains that hold us down, and we forever bound. When I'm tired and weary and a long, long way from home, I reach for the Spirit, and I shall not walk alone. When my legs no longer carry, and the warm wind chills my bones, I reach for the Spirit, and I shall not walk alone.
Very nice. Thank you. All right, so as we prepare our gifts for the offering, Ken will take us in. We'll call our ushers forward.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Going within, recognizing and knowing that the gifts presented here this morning are a demonstration of the consciousness of the individual that knows and knows that it knows that God is our source, our substance and supply. And so we, representing the heart of this spiritual community, accept these gifts with deep appreciation, respect and love as we know together. They go forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless the vision and mission of each one here, and of this Center for Spiritual Living, and anyone connected to it in any way, that we know this blessing for our friends in this community of Granada Hills, our city of Los Angeles, our state of California, our United States of America, all of its churches, temples, mosques, schools, universities, the people who attend them, the people who support them. For our planet as well, that we know all of it is the emanation of the very mind of God itself in expression. And to the extent that we know this to be so, we see the divine in all things. This lifts our heart. We feel a sense of grace that empowers us to ways of spiritual living, one day at a time. We are grateful. And together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. So please help me thank our usherettes this morning. Sandy Kelly and Sue Scheid. Come on in, kids. Come on in. Maybe this one? I did the old switcheroo on you there, Mike. Sorry. So who's our spokesperson today? Rosa? How are you this morning? Yeah, come on up. Nice dress. Tell them who you are.
My name is Rosa, and today we talk about peace, and that peace comes from our hearts. And this is mine.
Good? Okay. And what'd you guys do in the back there, Chloe?
We talked about peace too, and I said, peace be with us, and peace be still, and peace always bring to our hearts, and peace that we have great people to pray for us. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Yes. So, and in my house, peas and Brussels sprouts and potatoes made bubble and squeak. So, thank you. So, probably shouldn't have said that. Never mind. Cancel. All right. So, thank you very much. It was great having you here this morning. Let's give it up one more time for the band. And Angela Carol Brown. And let's call Wayne up, my old buddy Wayne. We were the co-recipients of the Volunteer of the Year 2001 together. That's how far back we go.
Again, I invite you to close your eyes if you wish, as we go within and just know and recognize that God is that source and substance of supply. And I know that I am one with that. And I know that as I go out today, I take that love, peace, and joy with me, and I see it and know it in each and every person I meet and greet today. And I take the time and I know and recognize that I am the change in this world, and I make it happen right here, right now. I just take the time to resist less and just relax and let God. Knowing this is so, I give thanks for the center. I give thanks for each and every person here. I give thanks for all the love and joy that surrounds this day, and I give thanks for the peace that surrounds this world. Knowing this is so, I release and let go, knowing it's complete and done, and together we say, and so it is.
Please stand for the peace song. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. He,